Girlfriend wanted an open relationship. So I broke up with her, now she wants to get back together. I still remember the exact moment my entire world crumbled. We were sitting on our couch, the same one where we'd spent countless nights watching movies and planning our future together. She couldn't even look me in the eye when she said it. I think we should try an open relationship. 4 years. 4 freaking years together, and she drops this bomb on me like she's asking what we should have for dinner. The worst part? I knew something was coming. For weeks, she'd been acting strange, distant, like I was just some roommate she tolerated rather than her boyfriend. But hearing those words still felt like getting punched in the gut. You know what's funny? Not funny, haha, but funny in that twisted way life works sometimes. Just 6 months earlier, we'd been talking about moving in together officially. We'd even looked at apartments, picked out furniture online, argued playfully about whether we needed a 2-bedroom or if one was enough. She'd been the one pushing for us to take that next step, saying she couldn't wait to wake up next to me, every morning. And now here she was, essentially telling me I wasn't enough for her. The silence after she asked was deafening. I could hear my own heartbeat, feel the blood rushing to my face. She finally looked up at me, and I saw it in her eyes. She'd already made up her mind. This wasn't really a discussion or a request. She'd already decided what she wanted, and she was just waiting to see if I'd go along with it. No, I said. Just one word, but it came out steadier than I felt. She blinked, surprised. What do you mean, no? Can't we at least talk about it? There's nothing to talk about. I'm not interested in sharing you with anyone else, and I'm definitely not interested in being with anyone else. If that's what you want, then we're done. The look on her face, I'll never forget it. It was like she couldn't believe I was actually saying no. Like she'd expected me to just roll over and accept whatever she wanted because I loved her. And God, I did love her. But love isn't enough when two people want fundamentally different things. You're seriously breaking up. With me? Just like that? Her voice was getting higher, more desperate. After 4 years, you won't even consider it? Sarah, when we started dating, we both wanted monogamy. We've built our entire relationship on that foundation. You can't just change the rules 4 years in and expect me to be okay with it. She started crying then, big dramatic tears that once would have made me cave instantly. You're being so close-minded. Lots of couples do this now. It doesn't mean I love you any less. But I was done. The thing is, even if she hadn't been acting shady for the past month, even if this request had come out of nowhere, my answer would have been the same. I'm not built for sharing. Call me old-fashioned. Call me insecure. I don't care. I know what I want in a relationship, and it's not that. I stood up from the couch. I'll stay at Jake's tonight. We can figure out the apartment situation later. Wait, she grabbed my arm. You're really going to throw away 4 years just like that, without even thinking about it? I pulled away gently. I don't need to think about it. I know what I want, and apparently, it's not what you want anymore. The next few hours were a blur. I threw some clothes and essentials into a duffel bag while she followed me around the apartment, alternating between crying and getting angry. She accused me of being controlling, of not really loving her if I could walk away so easily. She said I was being dramatic and childish, that I should at least sleep on it before making such a huge decision. But here's the thing. I wasn't being impulsive. The moment she asked for an open relationship, something fundamental shifted. It wasn't just about her wanting to sleep with other people. It was about the fact that she'd been thinking about this, planning it, maybe even already acting on it, and only now was she asking for permission. The trust was broken, and no amount of talking was going to fix that. Jake, my best friend since high school, didn't ask questions when I showed up at his door with my bag. He just handed me a beer and pointed to the couch. That's why we've been friends for so long. He knows when to talk and when to just let things be. The next morning, my phone was blown up. 23 missed calls from Sarah, dozens of texts ranging from angry to pleading to desperate. Voice messages I couldn't bring myself to listen to. But it wasn't just her. Some of our mutual friends were texting too, and that's when things got really interesting. Apparently, Sarah had already started spinning the story. According to her, I'd completely overreacted to a simple conversation. She was telling people that she just wanted to discuss our relationship and explore options, and I'd thrown a tantrum and stormed out. She conveniently left out the part where she'd specifically asked for an open relationship. My phone buzzed again. It was Melissa, Sarah's best friend since college. Hey, can we talk? I think you should know some things. I almost ignored it. Melissa and I had always gotten along, but she was Sarah's friend first and foremost. But something made me respond. Sure. Coffee? We met at this little place downtown, away from our usual spots. Melissa looked uncomfortable, fidgeting with her cup. Look, I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but Sarah hasn't been honest with you. My stomach dropped, even though part of me had suspected. What do you mean? That whole open relationship thing? It wasn't random. She's been hanging out with my cousin Mark for the past month. I thought they were just friends at first, but... She trailed off, looking guilty. But they weren't just friends. It wasn't a question. Melissa shook her head. I saw them together, at a bar 2 weeks ago. They were very friendly. When I confronted her about it, she said she was going to talk to you about opening up the relationship so it wouldn't be cheating. I laughed, but it was bitter. So she cheated first and then asked for permission after the fact. Classic. I'm so sorry. I should have told you sooner, but she's my best friend and I thought maybe she'd come clean on her own. When I heard you broke up with her, I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I thanked Melissa for telling me, even though it felt like another punch to the gut. At least now I knew my instincts had been right. The shadiness, the distance, the sudden request for an open relationship, it all made sense now. The next few days were rough. I stayed with Jake, going to work and trying to act normal while my phone continued to blow up with messages from Sarah. She'd switched tactics now, sending long paragraphs about how she'd made a mistake, how she didn't really want an open relationship, how she just got confused and said things she didn't mean. But I was done. I'd made my decision the moment she asked, and finding out about Mark only reinforced that I'd made the right choice. I finally blocked her number, but then she started emailing, leaving voicemails at work, even showing up at Jake's apartment. Dude, she's lost it, Jake said one evening after Sarah had spent 20 minutes banging on his door. Maybe you should get a restraining order or something. But I didn't want to go that far. Despite everything, I had loved her for 4 years. I just wanted her to accept that it was over and move on. So I decided to do something that might give us both closure. I reached out to Mark on Facebook. Yeah, I know, probably not my smartest move, but I needed to know the whole truth. To my surprise, he responded immediately and suggested we meet in person. I'll buy the drinks, he said. It's the least I can do. So there I was, sitting across from the guy my girlfriend had been cheating on me with, in some dive bar on the other side of town. He looked as uncomfortable as I felt, which oddly made me feel better. I didn't know she had a boyfriend, were the first words out of his mouth. I swear to God, man, she told me she was single. I only found out about you when Melissa told me everything last week. I studied his face, looking for any sign he was lying, but he seemed genuine. When did it start? About 6 weeks ago. We met at some work thing Melissa brought her to. She was flirty, gave me her number. I thought I'd hit the jackpot, you know? Beautiful girl, smart, funny. We went on a few dates, and he trailed off, looking miserable. And you slept together. He nodded, unable to meet my eyes. I'm not proud of it, especially now that I know about you. The moment Melissa told me she had a boyfriend of 4 years, I ended it. That's not who I am, man. I don't do that shit. The weird thing was, I believed him. And even weirder, I couldn't really hate him. He'd been lied to just like I had. If anything, he seemed more torn up about it than I expected. The day I broke it off is the same day you broke up with her, apparently, Mark continued. She called me crying, saying her boyfriend had left her because she'd asked for an open relationship. She wanted me to comfort her, to tell her she hadn't done anything wrong. That's when I realized she'd been playing us both. We drank in silence for a while. It was surreal, sitting there with the man my girlfriend had cheated on me with, both of us nursing beers and wounds from the same woman. You know what the fucked up part is? I said after my third beer. If she'd just been honest from the start, if she'd told me she was developing feelings for someone else, maybe we could have worked through it, or at least ended things with some dignity. But instead, she cheated, lied, and then tried to manipulate me into being okay with it. Mark raised his glass. To dodging bullets, man. I clinked my glass against his. To dodging bullets. We actually ended up talking for hours. Turns out Mark was a pretty cool guy, worked in graphic design, played guitar, had a dog named Hendrix. In another universe, we might have been friends. Hell, in this universe, we still might be. There's something weirdly bonding about being screwed over by the same person. Can I ask you something? Mark said as we were getting ready to leave. What made you break up with her so quickly? When she asked for the open relationship, I mean, most guys would have at least thought about it or tried to talk it out. I considered the question. Because I know who I am and what I want. I'm not judging people who have open relationships. If it works for them, great. But it's not for me. And the fact that she asked after 4 years of monogamy, especially with how she'd been acting, I knew it was already over. She'd already checked out, probably around the time she met you. I just made it official. Mark nodded slowly. You've got good instincts. I wish I'd been that smart. I kept ignoring the red flags. How she'd never let me pick her up from her place. How she was weird about social media posts. How she'd only see me at certain times. I should have known something was up. We exchanged numbers before parting ways. Not because we were going to become best friends or anything, but there was a weird mutual respect there. We'd both been played, and we'd both learned from it. When I got back to Jake's place, I had over 50 new messages from Sarah. I didn't read them. Instead, I started packing up the stuff she'd left at the apartment over the years. Clothes, books, jewelry, random knickknacks. I wasn't going to be petty about it. I just wanted all traces of her gone so I could move on. The next day, I went back to our apartment, my apartment now, I supposed, to get more of my things and check. The mail. Sarah's key was on the kitchen counter with a note. Please reconsider. I love you. Too little, too late. I spent the next week focusing on work and finding a new place. The apartment held too many memories, and I needed a fresh start. I found a nice one-bedroom closer to downtown, with big windows and wood floors. It was smaller than what Sarah and I had shared, but it was mine. The move was therapeutic in a way. Each box I packed was like closing a chapter. Each piece of furniture I donated was letting go of a shared dream that no longer existed. Jake helped, and we even made a drinking game out of it. Take a shot every time we found something Sarah had given me. We got pretty drunk. You know what's messed up? Jake said, slurring slightly as we took apart the bed frame. She's telling everyone you're the bad guy, like you're some controlling a-hole who wouldn't even discuss her needs. Let her, I said, though it did sting. People who matter will see through it, and people who don't, well, they don't matter. But it wasn't that simple. Our friend group was splitting. Some people bought Sarah's version of events, especially the ones who only heard her side first. Others, particularly those who knew about Mark through Melissa, understood why I'd reacted the way I did. I lost some friends through the whole ordeal. People I'd thought would remain neutral chose sides, and not all of them chose mine. It hurt, but it was also clarifying. You really learn who your true friends are when shit hits the fan. About 3 weeks after the breakup, I ran into Sarah at a mutual friend's birthday party. I debated not going, but decided I wasn't going to let her dictate my social life. She looked rough, bags under her eyes, hair not as perfectly styled as usual. When she saw me, her face went through about 6 different emotions in the span of seconds. She cornered me by the bathroom. Can we please talk? Just 5 minutes? There's nothing to talk about, Sarah. I made a mistake, okay? I was confused and scared and I handled everything wrong. But we have 4 years of history. Doesn't that count for something? It counted for everything, I said quietly, which is why it hurt so much when you threw it away. I didn't mean to. You slept with Mark. The words came out flat, matter of fact. You cheated on me. And then instead of coming clean, you tried to retroactively make it okay by asking for an open relationship. That's not confusion, Sarah. That's calculation. The why. Color drained from her face. How did you? Does it matter? The point is, you lied. You cheated. You tried to manipulate me. And now you're trying to manipulate our friends by making me out to be the villain. I'm done with all of it. I walked away, leaving her standing there. I grabbed Jake and left. The party early. It wasn't worth the drama. The emails and texts continued for another week before finally tapering off. The last message I got from her was a long, rambling thing about how she'd been going through a quarter-life crisis, how she felt trapped and scared about our future, how Mark had made her feel young and desired again. I didn't respond. What was there to say? She'd made her choices, and I'd made mine. It's been a month now since that night on the couch. I won't lie and say it's been easy. There are moments when I miss her. Or rather, I miss who I thought she was. 4 years is a long time, and you can't just switch off feelings like a light. But I'm doing okay. Better than okay, actually. I've thrown myself into hobbies I'd let slide, playing basketball with the guys, reading, even started learning to cook properly instead of living off takeout. My new apartment is starting to feel like home. I've been going to the gym regularly, not for any revenge body transformation, but just because it feels good to move and sweat and push myself. I've even been on a couple of dates. Nothing serious yet, and honestly, I'm not looking for serious. But it's nice to remember that there are other people out there, people who want the same things I want. Mark and I have grabbed beers a couple more times. It's weird, I know, but there's something almost therapeutic about it. We don't talk about Sarah much anymore. Mostly we talk about work, sports, random stuff. He's actually designing a logo for my cousin's startup now. Life's funny that way. So for Sarah, I heard through the grapevine that she's been dating around, really embracing that open relationship lifestyle she wanted so badly. I hope it makes her happy. I mean that sincerely. Just because it's not what I want doesn't mean it's wrong for her. We just weren't right for each other, and it took her cheating for both of us to realize it. Looking back, there were probably signs I missed or ignored, little comments about feeling tied down, jokes about hot guys that lingered a bit too long, a growing restlessness that I attributed to work stress. But hindsight's 20/20, and beating myself up about it won't change anything. The truth is, I'm grateful for how it ended. Not for the pain or the betrayal, but for the clarity. When she asked for that open relationship, she showed me who she really was and what she really wanted. And by walking away immediately, I showed myself that I have standards and self-respect, that I won't compromise. Some people still think I overreacted. They say I should have been more understanding, more willing to compromise. But compromise isn't always the answer. Sometimes, two people just want fundamentally different things, and no amount of talking or negotiating will change that. I don't regret those 4 years. We had good times, great times even. But I also don't regret ending it when I did. I knew, in my gut, that it was over the moment she asked that question. Everything that came after, finding out about Mark, the manipulation, the lies, just confirmed that I'd made the right choice. So yeah, That's my story. My girlfriend of 4 years wanted an open relationship, so I broke up with her. She wanted to get back together. But by then I knew the truth. And you know what? I'm okay with how it all turned out. To anyone going through something similar, trust your instincts. Know your worth. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for having boundaries. And remember, it's better to be alone than with someone who doesn't respect you or want the same things you do. Life's too short to settle for less than what you deserve. I learned that the hard way, but I learned it, and that's worth something. Update. It's been 6 months now since everything went down, and I figured I'd give one last update for closure. I'm in a much better place now. Still in my apartment, still hitting the gym, still learning to cook. Turns out I make a mean pasta carbonara. Work's been going well. I even got promoted last month. Funny how much better you perform when you're not constantly stressed about your relationship. Sarah tried reaching out again about a month ago. A long email about how she'd been in therapy and realized she'd sabotaged our relationship because she was scared of commitment. She said she understood if I never wanted to speak to her again, but wanted me to know she was sorry. I actually responded this time. Just a short message wishing her well and hoping she found what she was looking for, and I meant it. Holding on to anger was just hurting me, not her. Mark and I are actually proper friends now. Weird how life works out. He's dating this teacher named Amy, who seems really cool. We all went out for drinks last week. Me, Jake, Mark, Amy, and a girl I've been seeing named Claire. If you told me 6 months ago I'd be double dating with the guy my ex cheated on me with, I'd have said you were insane. Claire's great, by the way. We met at a bookstore of all places, both reaching for the same copy of a Stephen King novel. She's funny, smart, has her tea together, and most importantly, she knows what she wants. We're taking things slow, which feels right. I was upfront about my past and my boundaries around monogamy, and she said that was exactly what she was looking for too. The friend group is mostly stabilized. Some people still think I was too harsh, but most have come around after hearing the whole story. A few friendships didn't survive, but honestly, the ones that remained are stronger for... It's sort of looking back on this whole Reddit journey. I'm grateful for all the advice and support. Even the people who said I overreacted helped me think through my decision and feel more confident in it. That's the thing about posting your drama on the internet. You get 100 different perspectives, and somewhere in that mess, you find clarity. To anyone reading this who's going through something similar, trust yourself. Your feelings are valid. Your boundaries matter. Don't let anyone convince you to accept less than what you need in a relationship. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just living well, moving forward, and becoming a better version of yourself. That's all from me. Thanks for following along on this wild ride. Stay strong, Reddit. TL. DR. Ex wanted an open relationship after 4 years together. I said no and walked away. Found out she'd been cheating and just wanted retroactive permission. Now I'm living my best life, dating someone new, and weirdly enough, I'm friends with the guy she cheated with. Life's strange, but good.